Hey everybody. I know I'm tired. I Tuesday's my long days. I leave the house so leave the house at like 6:45. That was late. I should leave the house by 6:15, but this week I really didn't. I was just like, look, y'all just happy to get me. And one of the ladies in my class, so I get to work by like I got to work this morning in my classroom by 8:40. Class starts at 8:45. And she was like, oh, I was waiting on you. Wasn't sure you were coming. And I was just like, um, class doesn't start till 8:45. She's just like, oh, I forgot. You're just such a superstar because you're always come to work early. That's true. I'm usually at work by 7:45 because I leave the house by 6:15. But isn't it stunning how like what the difference between 30 to 45 minutes leaving later and how much late you get to work? Anyway, and then I leave there and then I drive to my full-time job, and that takes like 2 hours. So left there at 11:40, in the car driving at 11:40, had to work at 1:50. And then I left there um I left there at 6:45, and I got home, and I stopped and got a lemonade, and then I got home at 8:50. So I'm tired, but I wanted to come today because I watched the episode Real Housewives of Jersey, season 13, episode 15, and it appears that we're getting some context. So it starts off with Melissa and Teresa both saying how they were keeping secrets to protect each other. And we find out that the secret is Teresa's keeping a secret that Melissa has been cheating on Joe, and Melissa's kept a secret that Teresa and Louie told Joe that Melissa is cheating on Joey 6 months ago, and nobody has brought it up, and this is the reason why they've been acting this way towards towards Louie and Teresa. I can completely understand Melissa and Joe's point. Here's my thing about and I've listened to Carlos King interview some folks who are in close proximity to Melissa, and they believe that the rumors are true. I'm going to say this. I don't care if the rumors are true or not. I stand in the position of I mind my business. And and if Teresa and Louie does not deny that they invited Joe over to tell him. But what they do not respond to is that they were telling Joe to leave Melissa. That's what they're not saying yay or nay to. What they're saying yes to is that they told him, and that Teresa claims that she did it for Joe and Melissa to get ahead of this story because she just wanted to warn them about the rumors. I don't believe it. And I like Teresa, but I don't believe it. I believe that because if you were going to do that, then you would sit the two of them together and be like, look, this is what we heard. This is this is the rumor going around about you. Just want you to know so that if it shows up on the show, I just want you to know, right? That's what you would do. And here's the thing, they're not in a good place to even have this kind of discourse. So that's why I don't believe it. I don't believe that they were trying to help them and protect them from what's on the show. I don't believe any of that. I stand 10 toes down that I never liked Louie. I don't. But I also am not one, if this was my relative, this was my sister getting married or brother getting married to somebody I don't like, I would not put my 2 cents into any of this. There are some characteristics of Louie that bothers me. So I don't like the way that he talks to women. I don't like the way that he talks to Teresa. I find that both of them are a little bit on the. I find that he's not a good dude when it comes to that part. So I struggle with anyone who can publicly on national television talk to Teresa the way that he does and can scream at Melissa, even if it's justified or not. That's not my business. I struggle with that. And if you think that you're gonna get away with screaming at, I can't see anybody, I can't see my husband being okay with a man screaming at me in front of me, in front of him, and him not being like, now granted, he wouldn't respond the way that Joe is, like ready to fight, but he would be like, okay, now, dude, what are we doing here? So I struggle with that. And to me, these are signs. These are signs. And Teresa makes excuses for people. Like she has made excuses for anybody, especially anybody with poor behavior. Like any man in her life, she makes excuses for it. And it's really frustrating. But she functions better with a guy in her life, even if he may be good or bad. And I'm not saying that Louie is a bad dude. I'm just saying that these, to me, are warning signs to not being the greatest person. And I wish that she could find someone who doesn't have these blatant warning signs. And here's the thing, I'm not the one in anybody's bed but my own. And so if they want to get married and be good, then get married and be good. I'm going to be as pleasant as possible, but all of this makes sense. All the friction. See, I wish y'all would have had this in the very beginning, because then maybe I'd feel a little bit of sympathy. I never liked Melissa though, and I never liked Joe. And I think the problem that I have if Teresa wanted to see, here's the problem. If Teresa wanted to be on the up and up, then two things she should have done. Number one, just let it play out. Be like, I didn't hear about this, but I'm gonna tell you this. They wouldn't have believed it. So throw that to the wind. I wouldn't have warned them because we're not good enough for me to warn you. Number two, if I'm going to warn you, I'm going to sit both of you down. This is what's going to happen on the season. This is what we heard. I'm sure somebody's going to do this, and this, so that we can kind of team up together and direct our anger towards Margaret. But they're not in a good place for that to happen. And Teresa's not willing to believe that Melissa isn't cheating. But see, on the flip side, Melissa does things and says things that are some throwaway lines on these episodes that makes people think that you're cheating. So, like, she's like, "Oh, I'll drunk call my ex-boyfriend," and it's like, you've been married for how long, and you have your ex-boyfriend's numbers, and she's like, "Oh, it's just a joke." I'm gonna be honest right now. I would never joke that way, drunk or sober, because I don't have any of my ex's telephone numbers. And there is zero people in this world that I'm going to sit there and call while I'm drunk and wanting to get busy, right? I'm not calling any of my exes for this, especially if I'm married. So that, like, if you're making a joke and referencing to your husband, you could be like, "Oh, I'm about to call my baby daddy." Like, that works. But when you know that there's rumors out there and you're making these jokes about cheating, these cheating jokes, then it leads to it. And see, the problem that I also have is that I'm not saying where there's smoke, there's fire. What I am saying is that, because I don't know if she cheated or not, frankly. At this point, I'm gonna need pictures because the rumors have been going for so long. But let's get into this thing because I'm really kind of tired. Melissa tells Dolores she's not going to the wedding. And at this point, I'm there with you. But I will also say I would also not text or tweet or Instagram or Facebook, none of that on social media about anything about the wedding, especially on the wedding day. I just think it's just tacky, and it doesn't see, this is the problem. Anytime that there are moments where you're like, I am 100% in with Melissa and Joe because this is effed up, right? You're with them. And then they flip on you in 2.2 seconds and then they do something. You're like, gosh, dang it. I can't ride with you on this. So Instagramming and going on social media and saying negative things about your sister and her getting married on her wedding day, I can't ride with you on that. Anyway, so we're at the party at Dolores' house. Oh, we go flashback what happened the night before with this Irish thing. There's all these allusions to, I want him to get on his, Melissa's like, when you're getting on the knee, then it's Dolores and Paul looking for a new house again, and another man that she's getting a house from. And she's hoping that'll lead her to a pot of gold with a ring. Well, ma'am, I think Paul needs to get a divorce. Margaret is messy and is like, Paul's not divorced. And Dolores confirms. So you are having a relationship with a married Man. Now, granted, the way that they're treating you is definitely not like y'all in a he's definitely not treating the whole family's treating you like the wife don't exist. So there's that. But still, he needs to get divorced. Margaret is constantly talking about Danielle. Needs made the sign of Robert guy job. Not like that. He was crying because she needs to be the center of attention. I just feel like there's more to the story than her brother. Okay. Um, we're still dealing with the same issue between Rachel and Danielle. Like, I am so over it. She told such and such, this is a reality housewives show. You tell one person a secret, everybody knows. We know, so everybody else is going to tell everybody else. Everybody knows. We all know the secret. So there are no secrets on reality TV, so leave me alone. It does appear that Melissa is kind of pushing Danielle to speak and to talk about whatever's bothering her. Joe was annoyed that Teresa and Louie come in and don't speak to him and ignore him. I mean, sir, for somebody who claims that they don't care, every time you feel like you're getting shaded. Like, what do you expect from them? You expect for them to come and speak to you so that you can shade them? Like, come on. Like, I mean, this is really getting ridiculous. I look horrible, y'all. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'll look better tomorrow. Danielle tells, oh gosh, Danielle makes the decision, tells Jennifer, hey, I'm going to tell Melissa. First of all, Danielle, let me explain. Not at a party. I know this is reality TV, so you're like, okay, they're like, look, this is the last day of taping, so you need to do it today. Couldn't we make a phone call the next day? But you wouldn't have gotten this juicy of an episode, right? Is that what we're getting at? Shouldn't be at the party. Danielle has this delusional response. So she's going to be like, hey, that's not true. And then we're going to drink and laugh when we go to the bar. Yeah. Ma'am, have you watched any of these seasons of Real Housewives of New Jersey? That's not going to be the response. This is not the first time that we've dealt with these kind of rumors. So Melissa is going to be pissed when she hears this. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So Melissa responds by saying, I already know the story. And so Danielle's taken aback. How did she hear about the story? You want to know who told me the story? Oh, Joe. Teresa. And what a great sister-in-law do I have. Teresa called Joe over, and told him about this story. And you didn't think that my husband wasn't going to come home and tell me what they said to him? Pause. Like I said, now we completely understand why Melissa doesn't want to be in your wedding. I wish you would just said, I don't want to be in your wedding because you telling my husband that you cheated on me, that I'm cheating on him. So F your wedding, F your this, and let's just keep it 100. And you know what, Melissa? You would have had more people on your side and would have made Teresa the villain. Okay? But instead, you're playing it like you're being really petty and you're being upset that everybody else is in the wedding and you're not in the wedding, and we getting tired of hearing about the wedding. And that's what you played this entire season. So part of me is like, I'm confused because why wouldn't you just say, I don't want to be in the wedding because you're trying to break up my marriage. I don't want to be at the wedding. I don't want to go to the wedding. My kids can't go to no wedding. I don't want no hugs. I don't want no, we're going to get together. I don't want no, like you come up with all these other reasons. Why are you upset that your mom's not invited to the wedding, when in fact the whole entire time you don't want to go to the wedding because he tells because Teresa tells your husband that you cheated. Like, this doesn't quite add up and make sense to me. It's it's strange, in my opinion. Okay, so I need something to add up. The more that I'm talking about it, the more I'm thinking about it, it doesn't add up to me. This whole entire 14 freaking episodes. It's, you should have asked me earlier. I wasn't included. My mom and sister are not being invited. They were there for you. I was there for you. We were there for the kids. We did this for you all. I mean, the my son would be a pawn, a little token, just a prop in the wedding. All of these excuses, right? Over and over and over again. I'm so frustrated. Anyway, so Margaret is like, I hear my name. I hear my name. I hear my name. So she kind of comes over and she starts screaming with Danielle. And she doesn't even, as soon as she hears that Laura said something, she starts screaming. And it's like not even a finished, complete thought. She kind of, and it seems suspicious that she gets this hot over, you don't even know Laura. You don't even know that. Like, and she really bites Danielle's head off. And I'm trying to figure out, like, I wonder if she's doing this sincerely because Laura's lying, or if she's doing it because she's trying to ice out, you know, that, because Danielle keeps telling everyone that Margaret is the one that told Laura. And Danielle's voice is getting washed out because Margaret is yelling and screaming about, you don't know what you're talking about, right? And then it blows up to where Melissa begins to confront Teresa. Teresa's the one who called Joe. You know she called Joe. She called my husband and said that I cheated. So now the whole party is Margaret yelling at Danielle, Melissa's yelling at Teresa, and Teresa's like, wow. And see, this is what I don't understand. What's the wow for? You did it, right? She's not lying. Y'all, I'm so confused. Are you confused? I'm confused. Are you confused? I'm so confused. And I think the confusion is because we're not always getting the real story from any of these folks. This whole episode, this whole season felt like everybody else knew what was going on but us. It's like there's all these whispers that are taking place behind everybody's back. And we, the audience, are like, hi, are we missing the links between everyone? Like, I'm trying to figure this out. So I think this season to me is unfulfilling. And I'm hoping that this reunion is going, because even the after show, I'm gonna tell you, like, I watched some of these after shows and I'm still lost. I'm hoping that they're having a Teresa Gets Married special next week. And I'm hoping after that we get to the reunion and we finally get some holes missing. But see, the problem is I like Teresa. I do. But she's not honest. I like Melissa. I like Joe. But they not honest too. And so they point blank asked Teresa, did you tell in the confessional? Did you, first of all, did you know that Danielle was going to tell Melissa at the party? She goes, yeah. Okay. Number two, did you call Joe over to the house and tell him? Yeah. Um, okay. So Teresa's claim that Louie tells Joe to get in front of the story, like I said before, I don't believe it. Teresa told Jennifer, okay, so now Margaret's like, Teresa's the one who told Jennifer and Danielle to do this. I don't believe that. Um, and then Margaret is just saying some really low blows, like, and then so it got under Jennifer's skin. Jennifer is about to have this other breakdown. Jennifer's still upset over the fact that Margaret's the one who told everybody that Bill cheated. And then so she's like, he cheated with us, our boyfriend. You know, Palma Margaret is not only is she a cheater, I mean, she's lived, and all of these lived moments is I mean, her current husband is produced from a cheating situation. So there's a lot of nerve when you're calling people out on cheating. Anyway, so Jennifer gets angry and she's like, she came after my husband, and now we get to the truth of the matter. Jennifer is really trying to justify her husband cheating on her. So Bill apologizes again, and he's gonna keep apologizing because she hasn't forgiven him, and she's still making excuses. She's blaming it on the woman, which here we are. I mean, I don't know. Like, there's rumors saying that Real Housewives of New Jersey needs to be put on pause. I think something has to happen because this storyline, the storyline, how about we fire everybody on the show? Yeah, I'm to that point because I don't like Margaret at all. I don't think that she's being honest at all. I do like Danielle though. After all of this, do you know Rachel comes over and talks to Danielle and be like, you shouldn't attend this at the party. Like, girl, at this point, keep it moving. I did what I did. And because I don't understand how helpful. I was like, girl, you about to get residual energy that you don't want. So you should just stay over on the left-hand side. Stay to the left. She just wants a scene. And she wants to be like, hey, you forgot about me. Danielle really defends herself and she gets really out there, outlandish. And Melissa begins to start blaming her for bringing it up. Ma'am, Danielle, you have small children and you have a daughter. And I want to remind you I want to remind you of something so that you can teach your daughter to do not what you did. And this is what we do as adults. As children, as teenagers, we learn the rule that we don't get involved in other people's relationships, even when they're stupid little boyfriend girlfriend relationships in junior high and high school. You know why? Because you lose your friends. your friends are going to pick a really horrible cheater and bad dude and uncool guy because you gave your opinion of their boyfriend. You also told them that their boyfriend is not faithful. And 199.9% everyone gets mad at who? You. They don't get mad at home dude to the left who's been cheating. They get mad at you. Why? Because that's what happens. So Melissa, even though Danielle's like, but I didn't start the rumor. I'm just warning you that this is out. She's like, I'm just the messenger. And Margaret's like, how are you the messenger? You're just starting and initiating a family breakup. And she's like, wait a second. Margaret's the one who told Laura, who Laura then is spreading the rumor wide, landed low and spreading the rumor wide, right? To everybody. And that's how it gets to me. And she's like, Margaret, well, you're the one who sat down, Margaret or Melissa, pick one. You're the one who sat down and you and Teresa sat down and talked to Laura to get to hear this out. No one, Danielle's point is, y'all need to be looking at Margaret because Margaret's the one who started the rumor in the first place. Melissa doesn't believe that Margaret would do it. I believe that Margaret would do it. But none of that matters. None of that matters. You know what matters? Danielle gets blamed for bringing it up at a party and ruining the party. Which makes no sense because I would never go to my sister's wedding, sister-in-law's wedding, sister-in-law's wedding, if she's spreading rumors trying to initiate and tell me explicitly that I should leave my wife or my spouse. I wouldn't go. Louie is getting really excited and he's saying a lot about Joe and he's saying a lot of little nitpicking things about Melissa. And what he's trying to do is protect Teresa, but I think it's inappropriate. And Nate is holding him back. Gotta love Nate. Nate is so adorable. Anyway, Louie is, and this is where it gets kind of murky. Joe is going to get upset and he's ready to go after Louie. He got a couple people holding him back. First of all, Joe's not going to do anything. But I'm going to need you not to be tearing up somebody else's house. Y'all need to act like y'all got some good sense. Okay? Louie comes downstairs and is telling Teresa that your brother tried to attack me. Okay, now Louie, you not telling the whole entire truth. All y'all got problems with truth. And then she's like, this is what she does. Now, I will say this. Melissa has a history of getting rah-rah, screaming, saying whatever. And as soon as she knows exactly how much she can do it, and then Joe instantly takes a switch and then he gets rah-rah. And then she'd be like, no, Joey, no, 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 no. So she does this a lot. So I'll admit that. And people on Twitter bring up all the times that she does it. So for sure. Party ends. This is my favorite part. Both Danielle and Rachel come out with bags. They got doggy bags, they got wine, they got whiskey. They bring in everything but somebody's kitchen sink. And I love how you know, I don't know. I just love how they did this. I think it's kind of funny that they're bringing out that they go to people's houses and take everything. Exactly. But it's funny. Anyway, um, Jen and Dolores come to Teresa's house. And they're talking, and it's like, they're not coming to your wedding. You're like, okay. Joe makes a claim that even Gia tells them that they should be leaving, that we think that you should leave, Melissa. So, he's not feeling any of these people. And, he'd be like, this is what's family doing. Neither one of y'all are good to each other. So let's just not be throwing daggers at each other. Neither one of y'all are good. And we may not have a real housewives in New Jersey. And I think I'm okay with that. I'm tired of this show. It's exhausting because everybody's being telling 25% of, well, I'll get a little bit of, they're telling 50% of the truth. And since they're telling 50% of the truth, we are left in the dark and we're confused. And we're trying to piece stuff together. And I'm mentally tired of trying to figure out something I really don't care about. Okay. On that note, I'll see you next week for finally